We're early. That's okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living's Wednesday evening experience. Tonight is exploring the mystics. And the mystic that we're going to be exploring tonight is someone who I first found his work back in 2006. And it wound up being one of those things that was life transformative for me. His name is Howard Thurman, and he was many different things. He started his career as a Baptist minister, and in 1944, he co-founded the first interracial, interdenominational church in the United States. It was in San Francisco, and he was a senior minister there for many years until he moved to Boston and became the dean at the Marsh Chapel at Boston University, which was predominantly Methodist university at the time. And he was a mentor to many of the influential people in the religious section during that time, including Martin Luther King Jr. He was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor for several years while he attended the seminary there. And he also was a great mentor to Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta Scott King, also. And he was got guided them through developing many of the ideas that they had towards nonviolence, and also developing that deeper, more conscious connection with spirit. Howard Thurman was a very prolific author, and he's one of these authors, I don't know if about you guys, but I love an author who's really a wordsmith, who can really put down beautiful language. And that's what Howard Thurman did, and I think that was one of the reasons I was so moved by the passage that I read in 2006. The language of it was so purposeful and so impactful and so beautifully written that I couldn't help but be moved by it. So I thought I'd start off tonight by sharing that passage. This is from his book, For the Inward Life, and it's called Keep Fresh Before Me My Moments of High Resolve. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. I can't hardly describe what that meant to me. It's been on my computer ever since I first read it. I had to print it out and stuck it onto my computer's, on the frame around my computer, so that I see it every day. Every time I sit down at my computer, I see those words. I don't know about anybody else, but I've made thousands of New Year's resolutions and promises to myself and things like that, but it wasn't until I started to remember this, to keep fresh before me those moments. When we make a New Year's resolution, that's a moment of high resolve. We're going to do something. We're going to change something in our life. We're going to do whatever it is that we've had that we're wanting to change. And we set off the year with this high resolve, and then we kind of forget about it. Or at least that's been my experience with it. And it wasn't until I read this and changed the way that I did my, instead of calling them resolutions, for me that was intentions. Because an intention was more purposeful. An intention was something I was going to commit to. A resolution, my experience of those had been so fleeting that it wasn't something I wanted to hold on to. But keeping those ideas fresh before me. And so I often have a journal, and it has the things that I'm working on too in there, and I can go back and flip back there to see what my moments of high resolve were. What are those things that I want to keep fresh before me? But Howard Thurman's work is mostly a collection of short writings that he did, often on the weekly bulletin for the church. They would have, how we used to have the programs in our church services, and he would have a reading on the back of those. And he meant for his writings to be read aloud. His work is, as a wordsmith, it is poetic. It is poetic in the prose. It doesn't rhyme, but it has a beauty to it, like a beautiful poem does. It's almost lyrical. The way the words flow and the way the words resonate with us, because each word has been so purposefully chosen for the meaning that he had for it, and then putting them all together, stringing those together in such a beautiful way, it really becomes the lyrics to a song that you can live with. And so he meant for his work to be read aloud, to be listened to, either listening to it as yourself as you're reading it, or listening to somebody else read it to you. And so he has lots of books out there, but one of them that I really love the best is called Meditations from the Heart. And that's what it is. It's a collection of all of these short writings. Most of them are 2 pages or less. Short writings that are meditations, that you speak these words aloud and you hear them resonating within your soul as you're speaking them, and or hearing them from somebody else speak them, and taking those into your soul, into your contemplation, into the silence. And so I chose 3 different ones out of his Meditations from the Heart that I would like to do with us tonight as that practice, as Howard Thurman would do it, reading them aloud to just sit with it. And so I'll read these not terribly slowly, but enough for you to get a little bit of a chance to contemplate the words in there as we're moving through there. Some of them are one or two sentences, and then it moves on to something else, a different kind of topic. And some of them are more of a paragraph form of prose in there. And so I chose three of my favorite out of there. So this first one is called How Good to Center Down. So I just invite you to get comfortable in your seat and just maybe close your eyes and just listen to these words as I read them and let them move in your soul. How good it is to center down, to sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound with clashings, with noisy silences. While something deep within hungers and thirsts for that still moment and that resting lull. With full intensity, we seek a fresh sense of order in our living, a direction, a strong, sure purpose that will structure our confusion and bring meaning into our chaos. Look at ourselves in this waiting moment, the kinds of people we are. These questions persist. What are we doing with our lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is it we're trying to do? Where are we trying to go? Where do we put the emphasis? And where are our values focused? For what ends do we make sacrifices? Where is my treasure? And what do I love most in life? What is it that I hate most in life? And to what am I most true? Over and over, these questions beat upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind. It is a deeper note, which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily round. With the peace of the eternal moving in our steps. How good it is to center down. Just allow that to stay with you for a moment before I begin the next reading. This next passage is called The Patience of Unanswered Prayer. Teach me the patience of unanswered prayer. It is a line from a familiar hymn. It opens up before the mind the wide intensity of unfulfilled hopes, broken dreams, and anguished denials. Who is there that has not carried at a central place in their concerns the persistent hunger, sometimes dull and quiet, sometimes feverish and angry, for something that has not come to pass? The hunger moves in the background of all the days like the rumble of the distant thunder or the far-off roar of the sea. Sometimes it is so close that all of life seems summarized in its urgency and its denials, the denial of life fulfilled itself. The general overtones of anguish created by the unfulfilled need often send the soul searching for some clue, some key to unlock the door of the treasured house. All sorts of things are tried. Often there is a searching of one's own way of life to see if the intricacies of the personal behavior pattern may not stand revealed the reason for the unmet need. Often there's a subtle imitation of some weakness in the character that takes no overt form, but turns up as limitations in understanding or blind spots in perception. Often there is the sure knowledge that one has been hurt, crippled by the actions of others, and no care was exercised in the healing process, with the result that growth was out of line and twisted. But despite all the meanings of all the possible clues, the persistent hunger works away deep within. It remains unfulfilled and unmet. But slowly it may dawn upon the spirit that there is a special ministry of unfulfillment. It may be that the persistent hunger is an angel of light, carrying out a particular assignment in life. With the coming of this possibility into consciousness, slowly, tensions are relaxed, and the center of emphasis is shifted from hunger itself to what it has meant to deal with through all the years. Slowly at first, the words are shaped and the pattern of them shows itself. At last, one may say, I know now that there is present in my life a quality that is only mine because the hunger is mine. Thus at last I come to the door and seek entrance, where is gathered the great community. I now know the password. Teach me the patience of unanswered prayer. I'll spend a few moments with that. The patience of unanswered prayer. The third passage is called Be Thou My Vision. Be thou my vision this day. There are periods when all the margins of my awareness fade, and I seem to be a wanderer lost in an unfamiliar land. Sorry about that. Hard it is to focus, to make any directions with my thought, my plans, my dreams. There are times when all clouds lift, and before me looms in the brightest radiance a goal so long sought. As I watch it and move more and more in the path which it describes before me, something happens. I do not know how, but the goal seems tawdry, less worthy than that which was first sent to me. Now I seem more than lost, seem deserted, betrayed, not by the evil machinations of my mind, not by the willfulness of my own stubborn heart and mind. I seem betrayed by the vision, the goal itself. Be thou my vision, that I may always have before me and within the test, the checking point of all my dreams, however whole, however glorious, however true they may seem to be. Be thou my vision this day. I seek thy vision not for tomorrow, not for some future day when I am more worthy and more prepared to know and understand. I seek thy vision this day. Grant to me the flooding of my whole self with the light of thy countenance, that I may know directly when I have missed the way, when I have drifted out of the channel of thy purpose. Be thou my vision this day. So just take in a nice deep breath. Maybe gently move your hands and feet. Roll your neck. Bring your awareness back to the room. One thing I really enjoyed about Howard Thurman and his words was how he could find the sacred in the ordinary, in the mundane, in everyday part of life. You know, keeping ourselves more focused on that truth that we know that's come to us from some inner impulse, be it vision or our moments of high resolve or or whatever we want to call it, those ideas that come to us, and then finding a way to keep that close to us, to keep that on our mind so that we can actually begin to clear away all the stuff, like as he talked about in here, all of the evil machinations of my mind that tell me not, I love that phrase, evil machinations of my mind that tell me I'm not worthy for this, that I'm not good enough for this, that I can't do this. And if we begin to keep our mind on the goal, the vision, our high resolve, then I believe it makes it a little easier for us to clear away that other stuff. I was listening to an audible book of his, and it was the foreword written by somebody else in the book, and they said he would walk outside and marvel at that breath of fresh air that hit him after he'd been cooped up in a building for a long time. And just delight in the way the breeze caressed his face and the sunshine warmed him, and just find that marvel and that joy and that sacredness in the mundane, in this common, everyday ordinary things in life. And I think that was one of his gifts, between the writing that was so beautiful and so profound, and then the idea that the stuff is not just meant to be read and put away. It's actually meant to be lived. And so I think that's a powerful opportunity that we have to experience our lives in that kind of a way. As I said, he was very prolific in the 40s, 50s, 60s. He was, like I said, he was at the Dean of Marsh Chapel from 56 to 64. And prior to that, he was the senior minister in San Francisco for many years. And he was he learned to read the Bible by reading it to his grandmother, who was a former slave. And so he wasn't very far removed from that. And his ideas of nonviolence and standing up for equality and total integration between religious integration and racial integration. He's just a phenomenal man. And, the more I read about him, the more I realize he truly was a mystic. In that word I was talking about, the woman called him a poet, a prophet, and a priest. Wasn't a priest as we think of a Catholic priest, but he was a priest and one who ministered to people. That was his calling. And, the poet in him, the poetic beauty of his writings, the prophet who could find these things and put them in a way that people understood, that he revealed that impress of spirit that moved through him to come out on the paper the way that it did. I find him to be quite remarkable. And so I was thrilled to be able to include him in our Awakening Mystics here tonight. So this is going to be our last Wednesday night experience until the fall. We're going to revisit it in the fall and see if we're called to come back and do this again. We are going to continue to have our monthly Labyrinth walk on the first Wednesday, but the other Wednesday night experiences will be postponed. We're still going to be broadcasting online, so those of you that join us each week on our YouTube channel, and those of you that are in person, you'll be able to see some of the previous services, and then I'll be doing a few new services to intermix with those as some of the topics come up for us to explore. And so it's been a great opportunity to do this work here on a Wednesday evening, just to have a different experience of coming together as a community and sharing what we have to offer here. So I invite you, those of you that are joining us online, to continue to watch our YouTube channel. We have something new on there every day of the week. Our Sunday services are broadcast, and we have Keeping It Real on Thursdays. Fridays are Spiritual Soundscapes. Mondays is a short from one of my talks. And then Tuesday's a meditation, and there's another meditation. Tuesday, isn't there another meditation? Saturday. Tuesdays and Saturdays, Joe broadcast meditation. So there's something happening each week, and we encourage you to, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel definitely like it. And if you want to leave any comments, we're happy to receive those, and we'll get back to you on any of that information. Please remember to check out our website, CSLGLV.org, for any new and upcoming things that are happening here. We have some classes that are starting, book studies, and a few other things that are just getting ready to kick off. So thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate it. And thank you for joining us online. And we will see you soon. Good night.